You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Friday, April 17th. I'm Maria Lisignoli.
I'm Johnny Kahner. Thanks for listening to Four Things to Know.
For our top story today, the man accused of killing a Minnesota lawmaker and her husband appeared in court. Former House Speaker Melissa Hortman and her husband Mark were shot to death in their Brooklyn Park home last June. State Senator John Hoffman and his wife Yvette were shot and wounded in their Champlin home that same night. Their daughter Hope Hoffman narrowly dodged the bullets and called 911. Vance Boelter faces 6 federal charges, including murder, stalking, and firearm violations. John Lortzen was at the federal courthouse in Minneapolis for this morning's hearing, and he says the state is still deciding on whether or not to pursue the death penalty in this case.
That was brought up during the last court hearing in February. It was brought up again today, and it's really one of the last details that needs to be decided upon before this case can potentially go to trial. Now, Vance Boelter, just like in February, showed up in court today in an orange sweatshirt and orange sweatpants with his attorney seated on each side of him. Hortman family members were also in court today, along with a number of state lawmakers who were close with Melissa Hortman. When Judge Dulcie Foster asked Assistant U.S. Attorney Matthew Forbes about seeking the death penalty, he told her he expects the U.S. Attorney in Minnesota to make a recommendation within days. If the death penalty is recommended for Vance Boelter, it has to go through a review process through the Justice Department in Washington, with a final decision likely made by Labor Day. So as of now, no decision has been made on whether or not a death penalty will be part of a potential trial. Vance Boelter has pled not guilty in this case. This hearing happened just a day after the Hoffman family filed a civil suit against Vance Boelter. Now, they did not speak after court. They did not have a statement, but after yesterday's decision to file that civil suit against Vance Boelter, they released a statement saying our attackers should be held to account in every manner that is legally possible. So their stance on this has not changed from the beginning.
Number 2 today, there was supposed to be a sentencing this morning for a man who killed his former girlfriend last fall, but that sentencing did not happen. 51-year-old David Wright was expected to be sentenced to life in prison today without the possibility of parole, but Wright did not appear in court this morning.
Is your client ill today?
No, Your Honor.
All right. He's just refusing to attend the hearing?
Your Honor, we don't wish to go into attorney-client privilege communications on the record. Thank you.
The judge then decided to move the sentencing to Monday. David Wright was convicted earlier this week for shooting and killing 34-year-old Mariah Samuels last September outside her Minneapolis home. He shot her just 1 hour after she posted a video online showing Wright attacking her. She had filed for a restraining order in August. The day she was killed in September, the county attorney said Samuels had called Minneapolis police for help that morning because Wright had contacted her. Here's what Samuel's sister, Simone Hunter, had to say today after the judge moved the sentencing to Monday.
This is why people think that they can murder people in front of their dad's house and get away with it. There's no repercussions for these things. They don't care about these women who are dying on a daily basis. And the least that they could have done is demanded that he come over here in shackles like the monster that he is. But I'm astounded.
WCCO did have a crew in that courtroom this morning, and we will be digging deeper into what happened today in court and what it means for this family as they continue to seek justice.
Yeah, because, Johnny, you heard Mariah's sister even say the judge could have forced Wright to come into the courtroom, and he didn't do that.
Yeah, Maria, and actually Adam Duxter came over to us right before we were recording. He was in court today. He said he's covered plenty of cases. He's never, ever experienced something like this.
We'll have to see what comes out of it. Again, that sentencing is set to be on Monday. Number 3, a Minnesota woman is starting the process to take legal action against the federal government. Alia Rahman got into the national spotlight during Operation Metro Surge. She's a U.S. citizen and was arrested by ICE agents on her way to a doctor's appointment. That was her first arrest. Then in February, Rahman was Representative Ilhan Omar's guest to President Trump's State of the Union address. Rahman said she was removed from the chamber during the address and arrested. She did not face charges for either of her arrests. On Thursday, the MacArthur Justice Center, along with a civil rights firm, filed a claim on behalf of Rahman. They did this under the Federal Tort Claims Act. This is the first step in allowing people to sue the federal government for damages caused by federal employees. The claim, which is based on her arrest by ICE agents, is against DHS, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, and ICE. In a press release, the MacArthur Justice Center says Hortman was pulled from her car and subjected to excessive force by federal agents. They also claim she was unlawfully arrested and detained in the federal Whipple facility. Throughout all of this, the Justice Center says, Hortman faced mistreatment, was mocked by federal agents for her disabilities, and was denied medical care. It's important to know this claim is not a lawsuit, but it could become one if the government disputes it or if the government just doesn't respond within 6 months.
And for number 4 today, Maria, it's Friday. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
We wanted to include a fun story for our 4th thing to know. A Minneapolis restaurant named one of the best burger spots in America.
Okay, I'm interested.
Food and Wine has an article on their website. It's called the top 6 new burger spots in the U.S. to visit. So when you scroll down, you come across Le Burger, 4304 in Minneapolis. Have you been there before?
Le Burger. No, I've never.
Yeah, me neither. The magazine, though, says, quote, the patties are Wagyu. You can get a burger with foie gras, and caviar is available as a side. But the important thing is that Le Burger nails the basics. We might have to try it.
Oh, yes, we do. I loved your pronunciation of foie gras.
Yeah, I
What
probably
is that?
messed that up.
Foie gras?
I believe that is duck liver, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, crazy
Okay.
on a burger.
But Wagyu beef, too. Yum.
It sounds great. Apparently,
Sounds
they have really good
amazing.
fries, the magazine said, too. So it is in Linden Hills. It's right by Martina, if you know that restaurant, or Rosalia Pizza, right over there. It opened about a year and a half ago, and it's not like some formal, sit down. It looked like a grab and go.
Yeah, you think with like the Wagyu. I also read that there's like a caviar burger that you can get there. I'm like thinking this is some fine dining, restaurant. Not really. I looked at pictures and it really is just it looks a little casual, but sometimes those are the best places.
It looks so good. And the burgers, they come in like that paper wrap too, so
that's when you
coming
know
out
it's
hot.
good.
Yeah.
Greasy burger. Oh, yum.
It sounds great. So you'll have to check it out. But yeah, happy Friday, everybody. Those are our 4 things to know today. Let's check in now on our next weather forecast.
Happy Friday, guys. 6 weather meteorologist Adam Del Rosso checking in as we've been tracking that cold front that has brought some storms to parts of the area. The severe threat as we head through the rest of our Friday, shifting east into Wisconsin. Things quieting down, except for the fact that it is going to be breezy with falling temperatures overnight tonight in the metro. We're going to drop down close to 30 degrees, most of greater Minnesota falling into the 20s, and we're not going to warm up much for our day tomorrow either. Still going to be breezy. We're talking gusts upwards of 30 miles an hour for our Saturday. High temperatures in the mid 40s, which is about 10 to 15 degrees below average. Wind chills will be staying in the 30s all day long before we start our next warming trend on Sunday with high temperatures back into the lower 50s with a little bit more in the way of some afternoon sunshine.
And now, here's more to know.
A motorcyclist died overnight after a crash in Minneapolis. The Minnesota State Patrol says a 21-year-old Minneapolis man was driving north on 35W near Johnson Street. They say the motorcycle hit the left side median guardrail before continuing another quarter mile and stopping in the guardrail on the right side. The motorcyclist was found dead on the left shoulder just before 1:30 this morning.
A 19-year-old man will spend years behind bars for a crash that killed an 11-year-old in Independence, Minnesota. According to court records, Kahner Iverson of St. Cloud has been sentenced to around 3.5 years in prison with credit for more than a year already served. He pleaded guilty last month to criminal vehicular homicide. The crash happened on February 26th of last year at the intersection of County Road 6 and County Road 83. Investigators say Iverson drove his pickup truck through the intersection without stopping, slamming into an SUV carrying 6 people. One of those passengers was 11-year-old Liliana Loicano. Police say she suffered a severe neck injury and later died at the hospital. 5 others in that vehicle were hurt, including her teenage twin brothers and a 4-year-old boy. Court documents also reveal investigators found Iverson was using his phone in the moments leading up to the crash.
A Minnesota lawmaker is criticizing his punishment following the DWI arrest of a colleague and fellow lawmaker.
I was not arrested and have not been charged with any crime, and yet I've been removed from my committee assignments and now face an ethics complaint.
That was Republican Representative Walter Hudson. He and Elliot Engen were stripped of committee assignments after Engen's DWI arrest late last month. A police report says Hudson was a passenger and had a registered gun on him. In a nearly 6-minute video, Hudson pointed to other cases of lawmakers charged with DWIs but not facing the same punishment. House Speaker Lisa Damith removed both Hudson and Engen from their committees and spoke about her decision to do so last night.
The decisions that I'm making here as Speaker are so we can do our work, holding our members accountable in the way that we need to conduct ourselves, both here in the chamber, but also when we're out in the public.
Both Hudson and Damith called out Democrats for not disciplining members of their own party for DWI arrests. There are at least 3 current DFL lawmakers with DWI convictions. None were removed from their committees.
Federal investigators are trying to root out businesses who are taking advantage of the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also known as SNAP. This effort is called Operation Cold Snap, and the USDA Inspector General says they found $2 million in suspected fraud. They call it SNAP trafficking, basically exchanging taxpayer-funded benefits for cash. The Inspector General said they believe 20 stores have administrative violations, but not rising to the criminal level. But there are 2 stores where federal agents, including Homeland Security investigators, executed warrants. We heard from USDA Inspector General John Walk.
We have preliminary numbers that showed there's about 2.1 million in suspected fraud just from these 20 plus retailers, and that doesn't count how much in losses we may actually find if this does get into criminal prosecution. We've had cases in the tens of millions just from one store in trafficking of benefits.
The Inspector General said kids are often the victim in these cases because once the benefits are sold, sometimes by a parent or guardian, they never actually reach the children who need them.
A Minnesota city is on the list for one of the worst cities in the U.S. for allergies.
Yikes.
Yikes, right? The Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America ranked them, and Minneapolis comes in at number 12. The worst city, though, is Boise, Idaho. Experts blame climate change for longer and more intense allergy seasons.
How are your allergies?
I honestly am starting to feel them more and more as the season changes. Yep.
It's
How
not
about
good.
you?
I'm so lucky. I don't really get them, but I have family members who get them. And this time of year, it always seems like it's the worst.
It's debilitating sometimes. Yeah. I thankfully don't get them as bad as like my dad. Oh my gosh, he can't even handle himself sometimes during the season change. But I agree. I feel lucky that it doesn't hit me as hard.
Okay, let's get to our Friday sports headlines. Maria, last night in Fort Worth, Texas, the 13th seeded Gopher gymnastics team, they secured their spot in the finals. It's the first time ever. So they start tomorrow. Also, they had an individual champion. She's a senior. Her name is Brooklyn Rowray. I've been struggling trying to get that pronunciation. She won on the beam, just the second Gopher ever to win a national title.
Incredible. I didn't know this.
Isn't that great? Yeah. The Gophers will face off against LSU, Oklahoma, and Florida. Some Southern schools. To basketball news, Lynx star Nafisa Collier, she re-signed with the team late last night. It's a reportedly 1-year Supermax deal, so she's getting paid.
Is that what Supermax means?
Oh, yeah. I think it's the most you can get, right?
Oh, cool.
The Lynx start on May 10th. That is their season opener. The Wild, they're gearing up for their first playoff game. It's tomorrow, finally here. The big question is, though, who's going to start in goal? They haven't announced it yet. It's either going to be Gustafsson or Wallstedt. But Gustafsson, he's really struggled down the stretch, and Wally has been a lot better, but Gustafsson is the veteran. Anyways, Gustafsson, he talked about the importance of this series.
If you go out there, play free, and have fun, the adrenaline is going to take over for the rest of it, and, it's going to happen naturally.
It can be easier said than done sometimes.
Way more easier than done. You get a small wrong step somewhere, and, you have to keep on working.
Great advice for anything, not just hockey, right?
Take it easy. We'll see, though. And I was reading earlier, this is a crazy stat. So we talked about how the Wild haven't advanced past the first round since 2015.
Oh, that's right.
They've made the playoffs, though, 8 times. They're the only team in the 4 men's sports in America to do that and never pass the first round since 2015.
What are the four men's sports in America?
So NBA, NHL, NFL, and MLB. Yeah,
I see.
So not good company to be in. Actually, no company. Let's talk Timberwolves now. They're taking on the Nuggets tomorrow. That's a 2:30 tip-off, so you can sit back, relax, watch all the games tomorrow.
That's a lot of sports tomorrow.
There's so much going on. So the first Wolves home game is actually on Thursday at 8:30. And tonight, we talked about this earlier this week. Target Field might be full of fans who got free tickets.
That's right.
The Twins, they gave away tickets to anyone who was at the home opener due to all of the inconveniences. Remember, they waited in the rain. There was a power outage.
Yeah.
Crazy. So that should be a fun one at Target Field.
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
A big winner from Minnesota on Wheel of Fortune last night.
Let's go.
Chad from North Mankato. He made it big last night, made Minnesota proud. In fact, he won more than $18,000.
That's a good winnings. Absolutely.
It's so impressive, right? That show is so hard.
I don't get how they solve the clues so easily. I mean, I'm clueless, no pun intended. And then, they buy a vowel and there's like 4 letters, but the phrase is like, it has 40 letters and they're able to solve it. It's crazy.
It's got to take a lot of watching Wheel of Fortune to be good at it, I think.
That's probably true.
Right? Because I know, no offense, but a lot of old people watch it, and they're usually pretty good at it. They can just rapid fire off the answers. But I even though I'm not that good at it, it's still so fun to watch.
And we're gonna have another person from Minnesota tonight, Crystal from Eagan.
She's on tonight, and that's on at 6:30 on WCCO Channel 4. So definitely cheer on the Minnesotan on CCO. Hopefully she wins big too.
Bring home the cash.
Absolutely. Happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for listening here to 4 Things to Know. With Johnny Kahner, I'm Maria Lisignoli, and we're here with the news you need every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.
Love podcasts? Love Minnesota?
Check out the WCCO podcast studio lineup.
Hear the top stories of the day with 4 Things to Know.
Discover top female athletes and teams from around the state on women in sports.
Dive into stories about faith and belief, from your local leaders to your neighbors next door, with Bigger Than Belief.
Stay in the know on the go with the WCCO Podcast Studio. Go to WCCO.com/podcasts.